जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवन चारी यमुना तीरवन चारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरुदेव की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द स्मॉल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द स्मॉल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा devotees, welcome to daily Bhagavatam class and today's verses from 3rd canto 20th chapter and first sloka. So we'll do word to word first, then we will do sloka. Saunuka Uvacha said, Mahim, the earth, Pratishtham, situated, Adyasya, having secured. Saute, Saute, O Suta Goswami. Swayambhuva, Swayambhuva. Manuhu, Manu. Kani, what? Anvatishtat, performed. Dwarani, ways. Margaya, to get out. Avara, later. Janmanam, of those to be born. Saunuka uvacha mahim pratastam adyasya saute swayambhuva manuhu kani avatistad dwarani margaya vara janmanam. Saunuka uvacha mahim pratistam adyasya saute swayambhuva manuhu kani avatistad dwarani margaya vara janmanam. Saunuka uvacha mahim pratistam adyasya saute swayambhuva manuhu kani avatisya dwarani margaya vara janmanam. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Sri Saunaka inquired, O Suta Goswami, after the earth was again situated in its orbit, what did Swayambhuva Manu do to show the path of liberation to persons who were to take birth later on? Purport. The appearance of the Lord as the first boar incarnation occurred during the time of Swayambhuva Manu, whereas the present age is in the period of Vaivasvata Manu. Each Manu's period lasts 72 times the cycle of 4 ages, and one cycle of ages equals 4,320,000 solar years. Thus, 4,320,000 into 72 solar years is the reign of one Manu. In each Manu's period, there are many changes in many ways, and there are 14 Manus within one day of Brahma. It is understood here that Manu create scriptural regulations for the salvation of the conditioned souls who come to the material world for material enjoyment. The Lord is so kind that any soul who wants to enjoy in this material world is given full facility for enjoyment, and at the same time he is shown the path of salvation. Saunaka Rishi therefore inquired from Suta Goswami, what did Swayambhuva Manu do after reinstatement of the earth in its orbital situation? The purport ends here. Let me start with Pranam Mantra. Om Ajnana Timurandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Tashkurun Militam Yena Tashmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Tabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamcha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sayana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhashya Krupa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvikesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Srimati Jayapata Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripabhadaya Gaurakada Damadaya Nagara. Hare Krishna devotees, once again welcome to morning Bhagavatam class, ISKCON Seshadripuram, Bangalore. And as we know, today's verse is 20th chapter from 3rd canto. And before getting into the verses and meaning, let us see, the previous chapter and the little background about before getting into this verse. And as we know, the today's chapter is the 20th chapter is conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. And the 3rd canto description is already the creation and annihilation being happened. So that is the reason this is being, secondary level discussion, which had happened earlier in the 1st canto and 2nd canto. The 3rd canto name is status quo. The status quo means it is like government passed some amendment. Now once again the government is rechecking whether the reach of amendment is proper or not, whether those things are reached or not. It's like a verification. That means secondary level of discussion again. It has started from this canto. And the previous chapter is 19th chapter, the killing of the demon Hiranyaksha. So we know Lord always descends millennium after the millennium to protect the devotees, to annihilate the dushkrutas, the demons. So in that we have come across so many pastimes about how Hiranyaksha being killed by the Lord, and also Brahma's prayer also, and all other creations, devatas also prayed for annihilating this dushkruta. And we have come across the 19th chapter. Let us see quickly what is the benefit of whatever we have heard from 19th chapter. It is mentioned in 2 verses, that is 37 and 38 verse. The benefits of hearing, chanting, and relishing Varaha Dev's pastime. Lord, annihilate this dushkruta in the form of Varaha Dev. One will be saved from the sin of even Brahma Hatya, the one who kills Brahmana. So that will be relieved, those who heard of the pastimes of this Varaha Dev. Capable of elevating one to Swarga and purifies the heart. That means one who can reach up to the level of Swarga and also purifies one's heart. Those who heard sincerely the pastimes of the killing of the demon Hiranyaksha. And not only that, brings wealth, position, fame, long life, prowess of senses, prana during battle. The Supreme Lord will be his shelter at the time of death. So that is a little background about that. And today's chapter and today's verse, little background about that. Saunuka questions about dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu, the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, and description of Brahma's creation. So as we discussed, it is a secondary level of creation, and a very wonderful characters being discussing this pastime. And first character is Saunaka Rishi. Who is Saunaka Rishi? Saunaka Rishi is a head of all the rishis who assembled in a Naimasaranya. So this is the episode happening between the conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami, and in between the gap, or the discussion carries to the audience, for us, to the another audience, the set of audience who all are sitting in the Naimasaranya. And another great personality is Suta Goswami. Saunaka Rishi, we know he is the head of Naimasaranya. And then Suta Goswami, what is his role here? The Suta Goswami, basically, Suta Goswami was speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by the sage Saunaka. Right? So there is a Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami, and there is a break in the discourse between they both. Then here the Naimisharanya and this Saunaka, all the sages headed by Saunaka Rishi, and Sutta Goswami is narrating all this. This is a little background, and the chapter background is Maitreya and Vidura. Basically, Maitreya sage was a friend of Vyasadeva, and also who was being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's inquiry. And now, who is Vidura? The Vidura's behavior of, it's a perfect behavior of a Vaishnava. He desires all good, even for his enemies. Such a very humble devotee, even for his enemies. Also, he has got that, all good. And the another character, from the verse. Now we'll little brief introduction about the verse and about all the Manus, and particularly Vaivasvata Manu. Vaivasvata Manu is none other than incarnation of God only, and this Vaivasvata Manu is the seventh Manu. So another 7 Manus, another 7 after out of 14 Manus. Now he is in the middle. So another 7 Manus, when they will be finished, this one day of Brahma will be finished, and there will be another devastation. So all these 14 Manus, creation and annihilation. That creation is constituted with 14 Manus of Brahmas. One day, Prabhupada mentioned this is a law of nature. This is a little background about the characters being, mentioned here. Now let us get into the translation and purport of today's verse. Sri Saunaka inquired, O Sutta Goswami, after the earth was again situated in its orbit, what did Swayambhuva Manu do to show the path of liberation to persons who were to take birth later on? Very perfect question. So who is our great-grandfather, that lineage? So about that, here Prabhupada gives the time scale of, one Mahayuga. So one Mahayuga, we all know, cycle of all other 4 yugas. The appearance of the Lord as the first-born incarnation occurred during the time of Swayambhuva Manu. Out of 14 Manu, the first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. Whereas the present age is in the period of Vaivasvata Manu. Each Manu's period lasts 72 times the cycle of 4 yugas. That is one Mahayuga. So in one Mahayuga, 72 cycle each Manu. And one cycle of ages equals 43,20,000 solar years. Thus, in millions, 4,320,000 into 72 solar years is the reign of one Manu. In each Manu's period, there are many changes in many ways. There are so many changes out of each Manu. There are 14 Manus within one day of Brahma. So that is a calculation. This is the time scale mentioned by Prabhupada according to the scriptures. It is understood here that Manu creates scriptural regulations for the salvation of the conditioned souls who come to the material world for material enjoyment. Perfect. The Lord is so kind that any soul who wants to enjoy in this material world is given full facility for enjoyment, and at the same time he is shown the path of salvation. Saunaka Rishi therefore inquired from Sutta Goswami, what did Swayambhuva Manu do after the reinstatement of the earth in its orbital situation? This verse, understanding starts with previous chapter ending. The Lord kept the earth in the position of its orbit. Then the Manu, all the Manu, creation starts. And as we discussed clearly, all these things, Prabhupada very nicely, giving in a plate for us to enjoy or to relish very nicely. Here the Manvantra is the period. Manvantra means all these 14 Manus and all other calculation what we have discussed. What is that calculation in the essence? Each Manu's life is 72 times cycle of 4 yugas. That is one Mahayuga. 72 Mahayugas and 72 Manus. Very simple. 72 Mahayugas. Mahayugas are 4 yugas. The combination cycle of 4 yugas. 72 Mahayuga and 72 Manus in simple understanding. And also each Manu creates a scripture for the salvation of the people. See, our forefather, he is none other than Krishna, and who is the incarnation of Krishna. And everyone given the scripture for us, and he creates with the inspiration of Lord. So not against the Lord, he himself a Lord, and he narrates everything or creates everything with the inspiration of the Lord. And everything is Lord's arrangement for the living entities. So we all are fallen souls, no doubt about it. And it is with the Lord's will who wants to be independent and enjoy the material world, and who wants to be independent and enjoys this material world. So I want to lord over. That Subhava is there because that is the reason we have taken a birth in this material world. Otherwise, we never take birth in this material world. And that is with our desire only we have come to this position. And he gives full facility of enjoying this material world also. So there is a simple example, my Siksha Guru always, Vidrumadhodas gives in his, BV, little independence, given by the Lord to us, and how we use that, independence is the matter. It is like this. For the morning breakfast, generally, normal prasadam one should take. The small child, who is so much attached to the chocolate and, many artificial, flavored juice, etc. And with that stuff, that attracts, the child, and the child demands, I need, chocolate, and started crying, all those things. Then the parents also gives that, okay, have 1 or 2 chocolate like that. But the child, will not satisfy with 1 or 2 chocolate, keep on, eating so many chocolate, and only having this artificial, the most, the more contaminated food consumed by the child. And finally the child, suffers, coming and blaming the parents, you are the reason for, my suffering, all this, like that. We are also, put into that position because of our material attachment. We are also like that, child, we are also suffering. And here the understanding is the scripture. That means parents knows if you consume this, definitely there is a suffering for you, but still the parents provide the sufficient, in a nice way, you can have this chocolate, you can relish, and they give little independence. But with out of our own, little independence, we misuse, that freedom. So like that, we are also in this material world. We all are, suffering. So this is a simple example for understand the entire, discussion for the day. Whatever is there in the material world, all are imitation of the spiritual world, right? Which is not good at all. But it is an imitation. Imitation means which looks like perfect, but which is not perfect. That imperfect will attract this another, imperfect, conditioned soul, right? So that is understanding about this imperfect. And in this material world, all are temporary and illusion, but the illusion must be as real as original. That facility also being provided through Manusmriti. So through Manusmriti, Lord is giving, every detail for the material, creation. But even out of our own will, we are deviating from that, and we are the Manusmriti means there is a constitution of India. So everybody should follow that particular country's law. But are we following? That is a question. We know so much of abandoned activities, like Prabhupada mentioned. Wherever we go, we see illicit relation and intoxication and meat eating and gambling. It has become so common though it is being, our constitution says, which is not correct, but due to degradation of all these things, without of our own independence, and we are getting into the suffering, how the child was suffering. And in this material world, as equivalent to all the rasas, being provided by the Lord, whatever the rasa is available in the spiritual world, even in this material world also, all these rasas, abundantly available, Lord has given. It is like imitation of gold looks more attractive as original gold. That is our illusion. How to understand this, from the Manusmriti or from the scripture? Only perfection in creating the then only the perfection in creating the illusion. See, if the Lord is perfect, then his creation also should be perfect. So that is a Vaishnava philosophy. So we may not encounter it is attractive due to our karmic activity. So it is illusion. Only we are not understanding because of all our karma. So due to so much of condition, so Lord has given so much facility to enjoy even this. It is not actual enjoyment, the illusionary enjoyment of this this material world. In this material world, Lord has given everything abundantly to enjoy this 84 lakh species form. Out of 84 lakh species form, we all are so conditioned with this three gunas. With our guna and karma, we are so stuck with this arrangement, like how we increase the volume and then very frequently increasing the volume and then decreasing the volume, how oscillated this audio is. Like that, this 84 lakh species form, we have been oscillating from going up and falling down, going up and falling down, without coming into the stage of bhakti yoga. So we are totally away from this bhakti yoga, and we caught up with some other method of process, Mayavada, and up to Brahman realization, and and then Paramatma realization. And when we reach this Bhagavan realization, that is called spiritual world. These all are experimentally realized knowledge. Whatever in the material world being given so many different forms, even Brahmana, or even Shudra, or even a Vaishya, even a Kshatriya form, or even animal form, all the 84 lakh species, out of that 4 lakh human form, all these things comes under the experimental knowledge. We all are trying chewing the chewed, and Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam. We caught up with this, all these conditional activities. All these things comes with experimental knowledge. And there is another knowledge, that is existential knowledge. It is this existential knowledge comes only in the real spiritual world, and that is eternal. But in Kali Yuga, in this material world, always we got attracted with only with the experimental knowledge. There in the spiritual world, both the knowledge is fulfilled, that experimental as well as the existential knowledge, that is ever blissful. Satchidananda Vigraha. We'll attain that stage once we realize the real purpose of this form, or this birth, what Lord has given that arrangement. In the material world is full of illusion, and also there is a full of trap. This illusion always in Prabhupada mentioned that all these things are illusion. And even though with our conditioned this three guna, and with all our senses, we got into this fully trap, complete trap. That is the reason we are coming back again and again and falling within this 84 lakhs species of birth. But only the devotees can overcome all this. Only the devotee can overcome with the mercy of Guru and with the mercy of the Lord. One can come out of this illusion. One can come out of or elevate above the three gunas, or one could come out of this cycle of 84 lakh species of birth and death. And senses not in control, seeing all this. So we all our forefathers given Manusmriti, how perfection, like, constitution of our country, but how perfect we are in maintaining even that. In Kali Yuga, we all are so fallen, so conditioned, so attracted towards that, again and again, getting into this process, like, volume, I mean, unequal volume keep on increasing and decreasing. We are taking birth up and down, and, we got stuck with this chakra, Ferris wheel. And how to come out of this Ferris wheel? Only with Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. The moment we align with that, then only we will get liberation from that particular entanglement of illusion, as mentioned. Because it is not that easy. It is mentioned here only. Because our Supreme Personality of God had only given this nice facility for us. Because I have that independence, I have that, stinge of attraction towards this illusion. And Lord also, allows, go. But also, Lord gives, this alertness for the pure devotees, through pure devotees, but only the most fallen soul will not realize that. And how to come out of this entanglement of, this illusion is, it is possible by only Krishna, only seeing everything, everything being related to Krishna, because Krishna is all attraction, all attractive. So, but only due to our condition and our fallen nature, our illusion nature, we will not realize that higher taste, which is more attractive, that we are living, and which is like, due to our conditioned mind state, we caught up with all this, opulent, so-called opulent arrangement in the material world, and maybe experience, but not real like that. So if a person, wearing the gilt, which is not the gold, it looks like gold, but actually what it is, actually it is not gold. But the person will, will get the false satisfaction. Oh, I'm wearing a gold like that, but which is not. That is a Lord's, arrangement. And our philosophy of Krishna consciousness is to detach and attach. So we should detach from this illusional satisfaction. We should attach to the higher satisfaction. What is that higher? That is absolute truth. What is that absolute truth? Krishna is all attractive, but only I am not attracted by that taste. That higher taste, still, I am conditioned in different, guna, and not following the varnashrama dharma. Again and again, I caught up with this, sense gratification, and I feel which is not, that is real, like that illusion. And I may not be enjoying now, but there is a way through, Shraddha. This Shraddha is the faculty to reach that facility. So what is the solution here? Our forefather Manu is giving here, and he gives that, first you should come to the stage of Shraddha. You should have that faith, right? Then one could gradually, when the devotee will come to that stage, when they aligned with Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Till that time, there is no chance of coming out of, or, the stepping into the higher taste, progress towards higher taste. And we are attracted with so many things, we are so attracted with so many rasas. Somebody, attracted with name and fame. Somebody got attracted with, knowledge. I am so intelligent, I have, got this degree, that degree, material degree. And these material degrees are informative knowledge. But this Krishna consciousness is a transformative knowledge. One should understand, very clearly. So in today's world, so many people claiming, I'm so learned, that, this and all. But all these things comes under illusion only, not under transformative knowledge. All these things, with our minimum senses, we are trying to experiment it. These all are experimental knowledge, only. And see, this is related to boha and, tyaga. Keep on, we get into this boha and again tyaga, boha, tyaga, name, fame, and, and then wealth and knowledge, and then beauty. All these things, we get into as a boha, and then tyaga, boha, tyaga. It continuously, takes us to 84 lakh, species arrangement. So keep on, we are caught up with this. This is illusion. So we have to come out of this. Then we have to take up this Vaishnava philosophy. Says it should be, it is a perverted reflection of spiritual world. Whatever we enjoy this, it is temporary. We know Ashashvatam Dukhalayam, right? Full of, temporary. We know that it is temporary, but even though we get into attracted, to this because of, Maya or illusion. And then, which is full of danger, we know birth, death, old age. Prabhupada mentions birth, death, old age, disease. These four qualities, is the most, dangerous thing in this birth. But even though we forget that, due to illusion and getting into again and again, into this, the opportunity is given, for the material enjoyment, the birth of 84 lakhs, of life is given. Even we have opportunity, with this permutation and combination based on our karma, right? So whichever the guna, one is, if he is not attached to Krishna, if he is not dedicated to Krishna, then again we have to, get into this 84 lakh species. And then example, like how fast we increase and decrease, this example again, volume, in the audio system, we increase the volume and decrease. So like that, we are keep on, going up and, going down. How to understand this? Like in the previous chapter, Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is a, demonic person. Finally, what happened to him? Then being. But in the previous birth, they were Jaya and Vijaya, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So it is like, volume control. What I told, they were in such an elevated level because of committing a sinful activity or, bad karma, right? I mean, vikarma, they are falling into this material world. But again, that is also a Lord's will only. That one should understand. And everything happening in the will of Lord only. So nothing, against, the sanction of the Lord or something. So, and how Prahlad Maharaj, became so pious, like, increasing the volume like that, and they can, go back to Godhead because though they are born in a demonic family, and he got the firm faith on Lord to the higher taste, started, from Shraddha. And Prahlad Maharaj is so, prominent in Smaranam. He never, deviated his mood or mind, even a millisecond of duration away from the Lord. Always, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So he calls, all his associates and friends, and he preaches, Srimad Bhagavatam and, the qualities. This is, all about, the little essence of today's verse. And as we all know, the various Manus existing in one day of Lord Brahma. So the first Manu is Swayambhuva Manu. So the Swayambhuva Manu has got his own Manu Smriti, right? Manu Smriti means which is given, by our forefathers for our well-being. And Vaivasvata Manu, that is the seventh Manu. And the present age, present age is Vaivasvata Manu. And the eighth Manu is Savrani Manu, and it goes up to Indra Savarni Manu. So thus, let us look into this, Prabhupada's mentioned this time scale here. Thus, there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. In a year, there are 5,040 Manus in a year. And Brahma has to live for 100 years. And Brahma's lifespan is 100 years. Consequently, the total of Manus appearing and disappearing during the life of one Brahma is 5,04,000. 5,04,000 Manus. This is the calculation for one universe. This is the calculation for one universe, and there are innumerable universes, we know. All these Manus come and go simply by the breathing process of Mahavishnu. So they all the Manus come and go as a breathing process of Mahavishnu. The present age is under the control of Vaivasvata Manu. He lives 43,20,000 years multiplied by 71. The present Manu has already lived for 43,20,000 years multiplied by 28. This is a simple, what is called time scale by Prabhupada. And also Prabhupada writes, he accompanied by his spiritual, paraphernalia, appears in every one day of Lord Brahma in this material world, Manu. This period is called one Kalpa. The duration of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years, while the other ages are twice. So it is being, increased. Kali Yuga, then double that, twice, thrice, and 4 times the measure of this duration. This is a way to understand one Mahayuga. The combination of these 4 yugas are one Mahayuga as the duration of 43,20,000 years, and 32 Mahayugas is the time of one Manu. What is the time of one Manu? 32 Mahayugas. We know Mahayuga is combination of all these 4 yugas. The governor of this universe, and a total of 14 such Manus is the day of Lord Brahma. 14 such Manus is the day of Lord Brahma. So we have to see the hierarchy of this calculation from the beginning. We are presently living in the reign of 7th Manu, Vaivaswata Manu, in the same Manvantara. In the same Manvantara, on the 28th Mahayuga, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, Lord Krishna advents and exhibits his uncommon pastimes, which is immediately followed by that Lord Gauranga in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a simple understanding about, this timeline given by Prabhupada from this verse. And as we all, as we discussed earlier, the wonderful, characters, Saunaka Rishi, Sutta Goswami, and then Maitreya, and Vidura, and Vaivaswata Manu is none other than incarnation of the Lord. This Vaivaswata Manu is the 7th Manu. So another 7 Manus, when they will be finished, this one day of Brahma will be finished, Prabhupada says, and there will be another devastation. This is the law of nature. So we are also following, all our, the Guru and Acharyas, whatever their realization and understanding. So once again, I'd like to brief a quick summary about today's discussion. Is basically it is a conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, and basically this is the second description of Brahma's creation. So already creation and annihilation happened, and this is the secondary level discussion. As the chapter Canto mentioned, it is a status quo. That means the government has already passed the some amendment. Whether that amendment is going on or not, this is a conversation among the pure devotees. And this discussion, started is Saunaka questions about dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu and what he had given, all these things. Once again, I'd like to purport, and we can conclude, today's discussion. The purport says, the appearance of the Lord as the first born incarnation occurred during the time of Swayambhuva Manu. So initially we have discussed the benefits of hearing, the pastimes of Lord, born incarnation and the time of Swayambhuva Manu. Whereas the present age is the period of Vaivaswata Manu, that is present age. Each Manu's period lasts 72 times the cycle of 4 ages, one Mahayuga, and one cycle of ages equals 4,320,000 solar years. Thus, 4,320,000 into 72 solar years is the reign of one Manu. And in each Manu's period, there are many changes in many ways. So each Manu has got, separate changes and separate, ways given to us. And there are 14 Manus within one day of Brahma. right? As we seen, the breathing of Mahavishnu is the process of this cycle. And in one universe, then think about, innumerable universe. It's amazing. It is understood here that Manu creates, scriptural regulation for the salvation of the conditioned souls. The parents allows us to, the parents allows the child to have chocolate. At the same time, they insist, which is not good for you. But because of our illusion, we consume the chocolate. As I mentioned in the beginning, we suffers, after eating too much of, chocolate. This, yoga, boha and tyaga, no end for it. In this Kali Yuga, everything is attractive because it is an illusion from the spiritual world, who come to the material world for material enjoyment. So Lord provides that facility also. Only it is our ignorance, forgetting our, instructions which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Who cares? See, the country, has constitution and, law, but who bothers about, that law, right? Only it could be possible with the association of pure devotees and, like, Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, and, the scriptures, and, aligned with Supreme Personality of Krishna, Godhead. The Lord is so kind that any soul who wants to enjoy in this material world is given full facility, right? You go and enjoy, 84 lakh species, arrangement is being given. In that, 4 lakh species are human form for our enjoyment. And at the same time, he is shown the path of salvation also, right? Sarva dharman parityeja mamegam. So you abandon all variety of, all the religious, activities, surrender unto me. But where is the level of surrender? It's a big question mark. Person like me, the progressing devotees. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. So one who strongly takes, this Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, like, wonderful characters, Vaishnavas being, narrated here. Saunaka Rishi therefore inquired from Sutta Goswami. This is the parampara. What did, Swayambhava Manu do after the reinstatement of the earth in its orbital situation? So this is inclined, with the discussion between, Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. It is also similar, realization. What should I do before my, death? So he is about to die within, this. So even materially, there are so many personalities we can see. Recently, there is a, big giant, Rakesh Junjunwala, right? He's a, famous investor and also a trader, and every second is money for him, right? He left the body at the age of, 62. In Kali Yuga, it is said, 100 years, but he left, at the age of 62. And these are the, lessons one, should realize the happenings of material world. But even though we are so forgetful with, birth, death, old age, disease, this is the biggest danger. But we forget, and also Prabhupada mentions one tire company owner, right? He was about to die, and he was holding the doctor's, leg. Oh, my dear doctor, please save me for another 1 month. I can save, another 4 crore, rupees. This is illusion, right? Making money is not illusion. And the mood of that particular, rich person falling into the feet of a doctor, and, only in the mood of, making wealth, making money, that is not worrying about the salvation or the, what the Lord has given to us. Sarva dharman parityaja. But how many of us, realizes that particular, stage of upcoming in the, path of, bhakti yoga? Again and again, we are stuck up with this, illusion and, all these things. And here with this short summary of, today's purport, we will, end for the day, the session. Thanks for attending, all the devotees. If there is any question, we can take it, or any suggestions, most welcome. If there are any mistakes in my way of, communicating, please forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danda Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam.
Prabhu, as it is said, like we are part and parcel of Krishna.
Yes.
Krishna is Satchit Ananda, and
Yes.
I can understand we are such, but Chit Ananda, knowledge is very limited, and Ananda is not there at all. So, how do we understand that we are part and parcel, and how can we get that Ananda and knowledge? Please, Prabhu.
Yes. Perfect. See, why it is not coming means because we are searching in a wrong place, as it is mentioned in this, illusion. The example is since the Lord is perfect, but then this illusion also perfect. Illusion should be as like illusion, right? That is the understanding. So here, 1 minute. Am I audible and visible? Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Am
you're
I
audible. You're audible, but not visible.
Okay. So my screen, one.
Yeah, fine, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So see, this is the perverted reflection because it's a perverted reflection from the spiritual world. See, that knowledge, who could realize is here. I given some example. Whatever you try in this material world, because everything is experimental knowledge only. Whatever we do, which is not, existential knowledge. This existential knowledge is available only in the spiritual world, which is ever eternal. But what we do, Prabhupada, gives this example, frog in the well. The frog thinks always, oh, how big the ocean is. Oh, is it 4 times of this? Is it, 10 times of this well? We can think only with the conditioned souls, position, right? We think everything in the experimental knowledge, which is illusion. That is, because of that, the result is birth, death, old age, and disease. Where is the question of, Ananda or, the blissfulness? Because only with the hand of pure devotees, one could go to the position of controlling the senses or, regulating the senses. Only the pure devotee could overcome, can attain that stage. Because we never, we least bother about, Sarva Dharman Parityaji, right? We have so much because Lord has made this illusion, no? So we all so attracted, with the name, fame, all this Aishwaryas. So I am, so and so, and I am so and so, this Boha and Tyaga, Boha and Tyaga, Boha and Tyaga. We speak, oh, I have achieved everything in my life. I have got so much of wealth, but still I don't have happiness. I am the most beautiful person in this world, but still I don't have happiness. Still I have a suffering. What is that realization? Still I have not come to the conclusion that the biggest suffering is birth, death, old age, and disease. Where is the question of, attaining that level? Still we are in that, the conditioned soul in that stage. Why? Because of our attraction and also towards our karma. So we have been so conditioned with so much of karma. That is the reason we are put into this pathetic situation. So how can we attain that, stage of Satchidananda? That means ever, blissful. That is, spiritual world is eternal. This is a reflection with imitation, which is not, I am believing that. So we all are, conditioned. Say, for example, Prabhupada gives this example. In the desert, the animals believe there is a water because of illusion. What they call in the desert, that is oasis or, some illusion. What is that, Prabhu?
Mirage.
Yeah, mirage. See that mirage, this animal will look at, there is a water, there is a water, there is a water, actually, which is not. Then finally, what is the position? It will go and die in the middle. So our conditioned, stage also like that. We are also chasing this happiness, we never get, like this, animal in the desert. So how can we expect, something which is not there? We are searching for that. So only, as in the discussion we mentioned that the person who come to the stage of, Shraddha, then with the help of Guru, then with the help of Shastra, with the help of, sadhus, one could attain that stage undoubtedly. this is a confirmation from Prabhupada. If we attain that stage, then we will get, this is the solution, this is the progress. We have got all the rasas, right, in this material world, but which is not as equivalent to in the spiritual world. Because I'm conditioned, I'm so attached to the name and fame, I'm so attached to this, whatever this, imitation is in front of me. Got it? So in that way, this is a big trap. Lord has made this arrangement. My dear son, you go there, you suffer, and then you come back. So that is the reason I gave the example, this volume control, like ups and down, the noise, goes up and down. So like that, based on our karma, our gunas, and depends on our, percentage of elevation, one caught up with this, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam. So again and again, we caught up with this material world and with this, illusionary arrangement by the Lord. And also Lord gives the solution through, Manu and through, all the messengers, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. But even though only it's our, independence that we are not so serious, to take up this Krishna consciousness process because of, so much of attraction towards, all these other enjoyments, so-called enjoyments. We believe in that this is the enjoyment, this is the benchmark, this is no benchmark here. Sarva Dharman Pariteja. Abandon all variety of that, this and all. Surrender unto me, I will take care of you. So then one can attain that stage. Are we qualified for that? That is a question one could, ask, then answer we will get. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Did I, understand your question properly?
Yes, Prabhu. What I understood is only through Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra we can get that position. Otherwise, we are always in illusion. Am I right, Prabhu?
How the baby is, attracted towards the chocolate, we are also like that.
Yes.
Then the consequences will be there. What is that consequences? Again, caught up with this 84 lakh species of, birth and death. Nice question. Thanks, bro.
Thank you, Prabhu. So I had one more question, like as you told in the class, that normally these things come up in my mind, that when you say everything happens in the will of Krishna.
Yes.
So I can understand that Jay and Vijay, of course, it was always what happened with the will of Krishna. But practically, all the living entities, what we do and what we normally we see the suffering of, or we can see a lot of things happening, like murder, rape, or whatever it is. So should we think that also is a will of Krishna, Prabhu? How do we parallelly understand that this is also will of Krishna?
Yes, see, this is our, a further, deeper understanding about the same, what we have discussed. See, we cannot say simply, only the Lord's will like that, right? We should understand, the system, right? Suppose the child is, so adamant and so demanding, so, has that desire, and the parents will give, to all the children, okay, not by today or tomorrow, my son will come back to me, like that, with that, intention. Lord is so merciful, we know, so Lord is not, so, like, see, the Lord's position is, very amazing. Only thing, we cannot understand the mood of the Lord, the will of the Lord, right? So Lord always, favorable, giving so much of, realization through his representatives. So Lord sends, Brahma, Lord sends, all the incarnations, if we, come across. So all the incarnations, comes to protect, the main purpose is, to protect the devotee and, to annihilate, the duskrutas. What is that duskrutas means? Our conditioned nature, right? Prabhupada goes and says, but how many of them are so seriously taken? Such a realized soul, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told. So we can ask, why it is happening, to the Lord also. Why Lord should come and, fight? That is a Leela avatar. So in Leela avatar, Lord comes and, to give realization to us, right? Because we are also so, conditioned and caught up with this material world, from so many, janmas, and with so much of karma, which we have, accumulated from so many births. and how to purify that. So Lord also given, in the purport we have seen, what is the salvation for that? That is Manusmriti. The one, say for example, we all are praja of, this particular country, but are we, very perfectly knows this first, the entire, constitution? How many of us knows? Some leaders will, tell, a blind can follow the another blind, right? We are degrading in Kali Yuga. Our position is day by day, we all are degrading. So in India, at least the person who has taken birth in India is very fortunate. Prabhupada mentions that. And what to think about, those who are born, other than out of, the scriptural knowledge and, the detail, the inclination towards, spirituality, the inquiry. First of all, the inquiry which starts in this verse, will give the, right answer. Are we in this stage? Then we will get the answer. So what is this? Here it is mentioned, the Lord is also kind, that any soul who wants to enjoy in this material world is given full facility for enjoyment, and at the same time he is shown the path of salvation. So your question is, then why this enjoyment? That is also Lord's wish only. That is not Lord's wish. That is your Lord is giving, independence to us, right? Then we should come to the platform of, like Saunaka Rishi therefore inquired from, Sutta Goswami, what did Swayambhava Manu do after the reinstatement of the earth in its orbital situation? Yes, every day we are sitting in a Bhagavatam class. What benefit I am getting is, how many of us come to the realization of, the previous chapter benefit? That means benefit of hearing, chanting, and relishing Varadeva pastime. Are we come to this conclusion? One will be saved from the sin of even Brahma Hatya. So this much immense, treasure is available here. But how many of us taking it seriously and, realizing it? This is also a Lord's, see, Lord gives, illusion also. Lord gives, perfection also. It is left to us to take which one is needed for me. Lord has given, see, everything has got some, residual period, right? That residual period means, Prabhupada gives, you switch off the fan, after some time, that, after within this 84 lakhs, species life, definitely we will go back, no doubt about it. Lord will take us back, right? But this little independent, that residual, realization, one is coming within one janma or two janma, it is left to individual. But Lord gives this facility also, and Lord gives that also. So only it is left to individual, where is our, constitutional position is. Still, I want to, bohatyaha, one should understand, oh, there is some mistake I am doing. So here there is a saintly person who comes from ISKCON and who gives, Bhagavad Gita, and there is some material, some content, which is, mentioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead for this body. This is a manual. This body needs, manual. How Manusmriti says, that, like, suppose we are in Karnataka, there is an amendment passed in Karnataka. The citizen should abide by that, rules and regulation. If the leaders only not following, that is also condition, right? Prabhupada mentions, no intoxication, but government only takes with full protection and runs this business. That is the position of Kali Yuga, where to speak about, your mood, arriving to that, conclusion, right? With Lord's will. Lord never says, the constitution never says, supply the liquor to the, fellow citizen. Constitution not says, but we are against that, and that is the reason our leaders and we all are suffering again and again into this, as you mentioned, every day it is happening, the rape and, murder, all these things are happening. If you question it, is it a Lord's will? No. The constitution, the nature's law is very perfect. If you touch the fire, you will suffer. This is the nature's law. But still we are, with the ignorance, the child is got attracted and putting the finger into that and suffering again and again, because the child does not realize it. So it's a deeper, understanding is required, for this question. I just, I elaborated on, what you have asked, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Chandrapanam. Jai. Really. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for your time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. If no more questions, Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.